Once again, I find myself back at the University of Tennessee at Chattanooga to photograph beach volleyball. Very fun. I'm using, just like last time, the Canon R6 and the 24-70 f2.8 and the 70-200 f2.8. Today the light's a little bit different. Last time I shot this, it was full sun, no clouds at all, and today it's partly cloudy. So sometimes I'm shooting at 1/6400th and 2.8 and ISO 100, and sometimes I'm down as low as 1/2000th. And I was shooting manual for a long time, and finally I got to where I couldn't keep up with the constantly changing settings, and I switched to auto ISO with my exposure compensation at -1/3 and sometimes -2/3 of a stop. I shot for a while with the 70-200 from the court on the far left. The far left court, the sun was at your back, and I could sit back further and use the 70-200 on the far left court. Starting off with the 70-200, and look at the bright sun that we had on this partly cloudy day. Sometimes it was bright sun and sometimes the clouds would come in. On this day I started out with the 70-200, and I thought it worked out really good when I was on a side court so I could get far back from the court and use the 70-200 and its compression and things like that. So that worked out really good, and I liked on this particular day the light worked out better to shoot from the left side of the courts instead of the right side of the courts. And last time I did beach volleyball, it was the opposite of that, a little bit different time of day. And now you have the official in the shots shooting from this side of the court. And on this one, you can actually see 1, 2, 3 officials. And there's my good buddy Ray Soldano. And we are working on some pictures. Look at that. She is airborne. And I think if you look at Ray Soldano Photography on Facebook, as you can see, he is facing her and she is facing him. He's got that shot of her airborne. And the next shot of mine, she's coming flying in this direction, but she's not completely off the ground like she was in Ray's shot. 89mm shot here. And here is number 21 serving at 1/5000. You know, when I shot this the week before, I needed 1/6400th of a second at ISO 100. But just because this day was cloudy, even during the sunny parts of the day, 1/5000th worked better on that day. It's strange how light works. As I do a couple of serving photos of number 21 right in a row. And here's her teammate about to smash one at the net. And now number 21's getting one over the net just barely. Look at all the sand in the air. It had rained quite a bit, so the sand was a little bit moist that it wasn't the week before. Now we're coming from the other direction. They switched sides, I think, every 5 points or something along those lines. And the light wasn't as good to the right, and we had gotten a cloud. So I'm at 1/2500th on this shot and 1/2000th on this one. Whenever I was shooting on the middle court or the far right court, I switched to the 24-70 because I couldn't get back as far. So let's look at some 24-70 shots. Now I've moved to the middle court and I've switched to the 24-70. Here's a 70mm shot of number 23 serving. I did most of my shots with the 24-70, but I did prefer the 70-200 when I was on the far left court. And it's always fun to get photos of them when they celebrate after they've scored a point. That's always fun because, you know, look at the compression on this ball and look how hard they often have to work to score a point. So they get really happy after they score one. And this celebration shot is my favorite. This may be my favorite shot of this entire set of shots. And it's these two celebrating in the middle court, and on the far right court, here's number 5 about to serve one, perfectly framed up under their celebratory arms. Like that one quite a bit. And here's number 23 about to serve one, and number 22 about to save one, working really hard to do so. And looks like she did save it because 23 is about to knock it over the net. And now they've switched sides again. Like I say, they switch sides about every 5 points. And you can still see we're on the middle court because there is the far right court over there, which I'll do some photography over there as well. There we are, still playing. Did that thing make it over the net? I don't know if it did. Gosh, it was awful close. It looks like it's going to roll right over. I'm pretty sure it did make it over. And this shot's really cool because look at all the sand, and you can see my buddy Ray working on the shot with all the sand right in front of him. It looks like it's probably a few feet from him, but it looks like it's landing on top of my buddy Ray. Like this shot, the referees have to kind of lean back sometimes. The ball comes right at them. And now I've moved over to the far right court. As you can see, there's no court in the background. And now I've turned back from the far right court and I'm shooting back at the middle court from the other side, kind of where Ray was a moment ago. Look at that save.
Working hard for that one and knocking it over. I think this is a little bit later than that. And on this one, this young lady has had to save one, and she's on the other side of the court. And as this young lady's coming up to hit it, you could see there's sand pouring out of her shirt where she had been down in the sand recently. Good team. They ended up winning this match, which was cool. Look at that shot. I love these C's on the wall of Ingalls Stadium in the background. I think Tennessee or Chattanooga won. Look at the compression on this ball. Really smashed down, caught it right at maximum compression. I think they won 4 of the 5 matches, I believe is how it worked out. A lot of battling. She's smacked it over, and this girl has hit it back. And then she smacked it back again, but not directly at her this time. And it looks like UTC is going to get this point. Very cool. Very cool indeed. Pretty good compression on that ball, too. I like to catch the compression. I was shooting with mechanical shutter, so any compression you see is actual compression. It's not rolling shutter distortion. Looks like now I'm shooting back over at the far right match, and they have just scored a point and are celebrating. I love the reflections in the sunglasses, especially when you can see the clouds in the sunglass reflections. A little bit of ball compression there. Looks like that's going to be a point for UTC. Maybe that one too. Ooh, I don't know. That one looks a little tricky there. A lot of fun. A lot of fun shooting beach volleyball. And this section, I'm all with the 24-70. That's a 30mm shot there.
And now I'm back on the first court. Let's look at some 70-200 shots.
Back with the 70-200 now, and I like to shoot the 70-200 from the far left, but also when I'm doing baseline shots, the 70-200 is best. And this shot is from way behind the baseline and shooting at the net. And number 21 is, even though the ball's not in the shot, it's still probably my second favorite shot of all of these, as she's leaping up there, and there's so much compression in the shot of the background. Pretty cool. Through the net, and she's still in focus. And here she is again. Looks like she has knocked that one across the net. Look at all the sand in the air. The sand was kind of clumpy because it had rained a lot a couple of days before this. Here she is, number 21, about to make a serve from the near side of the court as I was at the baseline. But when I'm over on the side, I sit right here by this gate. Still shooting from the baseline now. And another shot from the baseline, a 70mm shot, kind of from behind number 6 as she's making this serve. And here is that team really struggling hard to figure out who's going to get this one. There's number 6 about to knock it across, and it looks like the Jacksonville State young ladies are ready for it. And now I'm back over against the fence using the 70-200 to make these shots as they are playing hard volleyball. Looks like she got that one over the net.
And now let's look at some 24-70 shots from the second and third court.
Back with the 24-70 now, and here is the coach. He's having a meeting with numbers 22 and 23 during a timeout. And now they are back at it. And I tried a new thing that I didn't do last time, or at least I don't think I did, and that is sitting on the wrong side of the net from where Chattanooga is and making photographs of them playing hard at the net, kind of with the net in the foreground. I thought it was more difficult for sure, and a lot of times the net was in the way of the players, but sometimes, like in this example, it turned out pretty cool. And this one as well. I believe number 35 is not going to be able to get that shot across. A lot of ball compression in this shot, 50mm, 1/5000th of a second. Here's another smash shot at the net. And let's get ready to do another one, shall we? There we go. Number 22, about to knock that one across. And let's celebrate about it after we've scored a point. How about that? This match went to the third game. You know, if one team wins the first and the second game, they don't play a third game. But I believe this match right here went to the third game. And Chattanooga, look at that celebration. And Chattanooga went on to win. Here's another wrong side of the net shot that turned out pretty cool. Even though I'm shooting through the net during a lot of this, I really kind of like the way those shots turned out. Maybe not as much on this one, but still pretty cool. And it looks like the Jacksonville State girls have tried to smash that one, and it looks like maybe we have stopped it. I'm not quite sure. Here is a serve. This is looking back in the other direction at this girl serving, and look at that ball compression. Whammo. Or maybe that's not a serve. Maybe that's a volley. I'm not sure. Either way, she is really whacking that thing.
And now I'm back on the far left court. Let's take a look at some 70-200 shots.
And I've switched back to the 70 to 200 now. There's different players on the far left court, so I wanted to go over there and shoot them. And when I did, I wanted to take advantage of being able to use the 70 to 200. So I made a few shots of these girls as they were playing. And wow, perfect sun angle on number 4 as she's about to serve in this 111 millimeter shot. I mean, perfect sun angle. And look at that, another shot of her serving. Very cool. Looks like they might have won that point. Got a little celebration going on. Here's a volley or a smash or something. And a meeting with the coach during a break. And now Chattanooga is serving from the other side. I like the clouds in the background of these shots. It was more interesting than a perfectly blue sky day, but it did make setting your exposure a little bit more difficult. She's setting up for a smash, and here's a serve. Look at all that sand in the air. And now this shot's 200 millimeters, and what's happening is there is a break going on. I have the 70 to 200 on, and there's a break on the match that's on the court right in front of me, and I was able to shoot all the way across to the middle court to get this shot, and I think maybe one or two more. Yeah, this is another shot. This one's 163 millimeters of the middle court from behind the far left court. And now this is back to action on the court right in front of me. Their break was over by this point. Just about to wallop that thing in this shot right here.
And now I'm using the 24 to 70 again on the second and third court.
Okay, now I have gone back to the 24 to 70, and I've moved away from my 70 to 200 sitting spot, which was right here and or right here, and I am working on the middle of the courts, but I'm shooting back at the court where I like to shoot with the 70 to 200 for this shot. And now I have turned around in the correct direction. Look at the great light on number 2 as she's making this serve. Really turned out nicely, I thought. And here is some action right at the net. It looks like that is going to be a UTC point, I believe. And that one right there probably will as well. Here's another time where I'm shooting from kind of the wrong side of the net and making it work for me. I do like that technique. Here is a serve, and you can see the train in the background. There's several train tracks very near the UTC volleyball courts, and the UTC soccer field is right beside these trains. So they're in the background of lots of my sport shots. Here's some more on the wrong side of the net action from me, the photographer. Really like the way that turned out, and lots of beautiful colors in this shot. There is a volley. Now they're on the other side, the right side of the net for me to be on as the photographer. And here's 14. She's about to set one up. And look at my ISO. I'm up to 320. I got tired of dealing with having to constantly change my shutter speed, and finally I threw up the white flag and turned on automatic ISO. The week before, I was able to shoot manual the whole time and really basically never change my exposure except for when somebody was backlit and serving. But on this day, look at that celebration. Oh, and it was St. Patrick's Day. You can see a St. Patrick's Day hair tie there on number 11. On this day, I really needed the camera to help me with exposure instead of trying to do it 100% manually. She is really running over towards that fence to save that, and you can see the official here. He's kind of leaning over thinking she's about to knock that thing right in my face. Here is a serving shot. There's the coach in the background and more trains on this 70 millimeter shot. And here is some action right at the net. You can see my good buddy Ray. Ray and I shot stills, and this gentleman right here made video of these matches, and it looks like that's 2 shots right in a row. Is it going to make it over? I think it is, and it doesn't look like number 21 for Jacksonville State is going to be able to field it, and maybe we should celebrate about it. How about that? Lots of celebrations in beach volleyball. All right, back at the action now as she is about to knock that thing over the net, and so is she. More reflections of the clouds in the sunglasses, which I really like, and we'll celebrate about that point scored, and then we'll get right back at it and try to score some more. And how about a little bit more celebration and a little bit more hard volleyball action and some more. Look at all that wet sand, semi-wet sand flying up, and that's a pretty good shot of my buddy Ray working on that shot. And it looks like Chattanooga has won, and they are doing the sportsmanship thing and giving everybody 5 at the end of the match. All right, I really appreciate you joining me here at the University of Tennessee Sports Complex for some fun beach volleyball photography. I hope you enjoyed it. If you like the content, a thumbs up is always appreciated. And as always, I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye-bye from the University of Tennessee at Chattanooga. Okay, here is a little bonus time-lapse video sped up to 20 times speed. And if you look closely, you can see my buddy Ray at the right of the officiating stand and me way over on the left as we are photographing the far left match.